Loving the modern technology these days. It's Scott Hamilton here from Rockfile Radio, on with Keith. Keith, welcome. Dude, I wanted to talk to you for a long time. Really appreciate your guitar work and your songwriting skills. And now we get to talk about West Virginia and your new solo record and all sorts of stuff. This will be fun.
Oh, well, any chance to talk about West Virginia. Yeah, I'm down. Dude, thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, loving the new song, man. It's a different direction for you, but it sounds great.
Thank you.
So you're from Shady Spring, West Virginia. Where is that located in the state?
So, boy, this is so funny. I didn't expect this. Let's go. Actually, I went to, Shady Spring Elementary. I went to Shady Spring Junior High. I went to Shady Spring High School. But the area that where my house that I grew up in is called Daniels, which is pretty much right there beside Shady Spring. And those are all just kind of smaller outskirts of the larger town. I don't really want to say city because I don't know if it's a city, but I guess it is, of Beckley, West Virginia.
Okay. Very familiar with that.
Yeah. So that's I guess, South Central West Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to run Rock 105 in Charleston, so I was familiar with that area for a while. And my father is from a little town called Elkwater.
Okay, wow.
Up in the northern part of the state.
All right. Yeah, lots of good times. West Virginia, it's a beautiful place. It really is. I mean, the natural beauty of the place is unbelievable. Lots of summers. Hiking the waterfalls. We used to go over to the the New River Gorge Bridge and whitewater rafting and camping. I mean, I love it. I miss it, honestly. I haven't been back in a while.
So where are you living now?
So I live in Tennessee now. Yeah, a little bit outside of Knoxville.
Okay.
This is where whenever I moved from West Virginia, I moved to Knoxville, went to school at University of Tennessee, and just kind of hung around, spent some time in Los Angeles for a bit, but came back to Tennessee. And yeah, man, it's cool. It's funny. People in Tennessee have a little bit different accent than people from West Virginia. It's both Southern sounding, but it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, I used to work in Chattanooga, so I'm very familiar.
Oh, right on.
So, wow, our careers have kind of intersected a couple times.
I know, man. I'm following you around. Watch out.
So you started off in Copper, you did a little time in Adelita's Way, and now you've been in Breaking Benjamin for a while. You have co-written songs with Saint Asonia, Love and Death, Fuel, Red, Saving Abel, and now you've released some singles and some covers, and now you've got a solo album. How did you get to this point after all of this work that you said, this is time for me to do my own thing?
Well, gosh, I love playing with bands. It's been amazing. I love the camaraderie. I love the teamwork aspect of it. But sometimes I feel like, there's some things that I work on, some songs and stuff that it's not really quite the right fit for some of the, projects that I've been in. So, it's kind of just something I wanted to do. And, really I tell people that, there's going to be a point where I'm not going to be able to play guitar. I'm not going to be able to sing, hopefully I can as long as I can, but, I just want to do as much stuff, music related, while I can.
Right.
And so, I have the resources. I'm able to kind of, work here at home on the laptop and record some stuff. And I'm fortunate to have some incredibly talented friends that have kind of helped me cultivate some of these solo songs and releases over the years. So yeah, I'm really excited. I've kind of started out with kind of a more of a chill kind of vibe with my solo stuff with Allies, and kind of messed around with a little bit of an alternative sound and stuff like that. And really on this release with Dream Away, and the forthcoming album, I really just was like, man, I just want to rock. I want to get back to what I know, and being playing in bands over the last over 20 years. It's kind of like it's kind of my familiar old friend. So yeah, kind of wanted to go in that direction for these new ones.
Did were you working on a lot of this before the pandemic hit, or was that part of the catalyst that got it all going?
Yeah, I was actually. Yeah, it's my band has kept me really busy, and I'm very grateful for that, and thankfully so. So it's kind of in between tours, I've kind of taken that time to kind of work on solo songs, and I've released a few singles over the years in between tours, and it was this was no real departure from that. It's kind of we had kind of a winter break last year, and I'd kind of been planning and plotting about this full album, and trying to gather the songs and work on the writing and tweaking some new songs and stuff. So it was something I'd kind of planned, and really I'd recorded and had it pretty much for the most part done this time last year.
Hmm.
So yeah, in January, my friend Joe Rickard, who actually co-wrote a bunch of songs with me. He used to play drums in Red, actually,
Hmm.
and so he's become an amazing songwriter, producer. It's amazing how much he's just come up the ladder with his skills and everything. And I was just like, dude, I'd be honored if you'd want to work on this with me. And he was gracious enough to agree. And so yeah, he came to the house this time last year for a couple weeks. I had a tour about to start, and so there was a time crunch. So we kind of
Right.
it's amazing. I don't see how we got it all done, but we got it all done. We even went to Nashville, and he actually played drums on all the songs too. Again, super talented. Like I was saying, I have talented friends, and I'm lucky enough that they're willing to work with me. Uh, so yeah, he recorded the drums, and later on, once we started that tour, I was able to get Aaron Brook, who's the bass player for Breaking Bend. He was again gracious enough to lend his talents to my album on the bass playing duties. So yeah, the tour went. We got home. Right after we got home, the pandemic hit,
Everything shut
and
down.
everything shut down. Yeah, Tom Hanks got COVID, and then the NBA, was canceled, and I was like, holy cow, this is crazy. And so yeah, over the whole past year, I kind of took the time to really concentrate on getting the mixes right, the mastering for the album, and kind of re-listening to everything and making sure it was where I wanted it to be. It's funny, it's like some of the songs sound like they would be a song that is written during the pandemic, because it's just some of the subject matter, some of the things are, or it deals with just mental struggle, isolation, and all those things that really we're all just kind of going through
Right.
much this whole year. So lots of people have asked me that, like, did you write this during? But it was just something that was worked on before it, but it proved to be almost kind of predictive in a way, unfortunately, of things to come.
So what's Dream Away all about? The first single is out. It's burning up the radio charts already. You got to feel good about that. But what should people take away from the song?
Well, look, it's we all have our bad days. We all have the things that fester in our mind that we are constantly in a battle with to try and overcome. Whether that be financial situations, just the situation of the world in general, just relationships, anything like that. I kind of wanted to kind of paint the picture of a character that just wanted to just escape to a more positive horizon, even if it was just in their mind, even if it was
Hmm.
just reaching and keeping that hope alive for something better. Lots of times I like to watch movies. I like to just completely not think about anything sometimes, and just get lost in a movie or a show, or in music. So that was kind of my goal with this, is just keep dreaming, and keep that positivity going.
Hmm. It's very important, especially during these times.
Absolutely. It's definitely been gosh, it's been so hard. It's been so hard on so many people. It's just tragic. And it's you know, for a long time there. I mean, even still to a certain degree. I mean, we're starting to see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel with, you know, the vaccine and everything. But
Right.
for a long time, I mean, every time I would put on the news, it was just bad news, bad news. And then it was, you know, I would say to people, well, you know, look, I've got a roof over my head. It could always be worse. And as soon as I would say that, something would get worse. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna shut up and you know, try to wait this out.
Now, you've worked with a lot of other artists, and songwriting is obviously something that's very important to you because you contribute a lot. When you're writing a song, how important is the hook? Because you know you write hit songs, your songs and the bands you've been in, you've hit the radio with these songs. You obviously have that gift, and it's hard to explain to people outside the music industry about the hook and how that works on people, and you got to find that right balance of the art versus the repetition so that people, you know, can stamp their foot to it and sing to it and dance along with it, whatever. So in your songwriting process, how important is the hook and where does it come? Like, do you come up with the hook first and then write the rest of the song around it, or vice versa? Or
That's a good question. You know, gosh, I wish I had an exact formula given to me, because then I would just try and follow it every time. But you know, you never know. You never know where inspiration is going to hit you. You know, as far as a hook specifically goes, you know, I don't even know sometimes if I'm writing a hook at times. You know,
right.
I just try and write something that I think sounds cool and makes me feel something. And you know, I don't know, you know, sometimes different things come first. Usually in my situation, in my case, I try to come up with music first, and then I try to come up with a melody next, something that would sound good sung over the music. And then at that point, sometimes I'll have a few little lyrical phrases or things that are kind of, you know, fitting into the syllables there, in the melody. And so then I'll just kind of go back and try to plug some cool sounding words in there, you know, and plus just going off of just my own experiences and life, what I'm thinking at the time, you know, even back to just the movie thing, you know, going back to, you know, some kind of imagery in a movie can just inspire a whole, you know, couple songs, you know, to write about that, you know. So but yeah, as far as hooks, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm so thankful that you know, people are digging some of the stuff I've written, and you know, I'm just happy to have the opportunity to get out there and play music, and I hope to continue to do so.
It's a wonderful thing, right?
It's the best. I mean, gosh, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and you know, I think back to you know, 15-year-old, 16-year-old me, you know, sitting there trying to like learn how to play Unforgiven on, you know, someone would have told me, here's what you're going to be doing in, you know, 20 years. And I would have just been like, I mean, that's a dream come true. So I really am living my dream. This is something I've always wanted. And so I have to pinch myself all the time just to make sure it's real.
Well, I'm a huge movie fan. I do a podcast and I've done about 200 movie reviews in the last year and a half. Would you like to do more stuff with movies? Would you like not just to get your songs, but maybe do a score?
I think it'd be really cool. It's definitely something that's, you know, I don't think that it's in my wheelhouse. I've never really tried to do it. Obviously, I love movies and I love scores. I feel like that's it's such an important uh, aspect to movies, and lots of times I feel overlooked. It can
Yeah, you
bring
ever watch a movie and go, man, if they just used a better piece of music right there, you know, it would have.
definitely. And I've seen clips of you know, compelling movie scenes that you know, where they've removed the music, and I'm just like, this looks ridiculous. You
Right.
know?
But with the right music, it works.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've never tried it. I think it'd be a fun thing to do. I wouldn't know the first first thing to do. I'm not really a big music theory guy, so you know, I'd just be sitting there fumbling around trying to come up with something, but it'd be fun.
It absolutely would. You just have to find the right project, I think.
For sure, for sure.
Just like sitting down, I mean, for me to sit down and do a podcast or even an interview, I kind of have to be excited about it. I can't just, somebody can't hand me a movie and go review this, because I may not get anything from the movie. But for certain conversations like this or certain movies that I've seen, I want to get on the microphone and I want to talk about it and get excited about it. And I think you would have to be the same thing to be a director of a movie or writing the score for a movie. You'd kind of have to be excited about the project to want to give that much of yourself to it, I think.
Absolutely. I completely agree. You got to have the passion for it. You got to have the love, all that just fuels the drive and the art, in my opinion. I think there's probably been so many movies and projects and things where a director or what have you, their heart just wasn't in it, and it shows in the final project that it just wasn't as good as it could have been, perhaps.
Right. Got to have that passion, which you obviously do for rock and roll, and that's a good thing.
Well, I appreciate it. I do. I'm stuck with it.
Have you ever worked on some songs that didn't make it onto a project and saved them for later?
Yes, I have definitely. Gosh, I mean, probably 90% of the things that I've written hasn't made it on things. It's all part of the process. You gotta start somewhere, and not every song you write or film you direct or whatever is going to be just this great thing.
Right.
You gotta write a few stinkers before I can get something. But it's all a muscle. I think it's something that hopefully you just try to get better with practice and repetition, and keep exercising that muscle. But yeah, I definitely I come back to things all the time. There was a song I was writing last week where there was a piece of music, and I was trying to come up with something over it, and I wasn't liking anything I was coming up with, and then maybe like a day later I was just kind of listening to some other songs, and I heard another kind of demo that I'd made, and I was like, wow, I think this melody would fit right over on top of this, and it did. So you never know what what kind of things you can kind of pull from.
I was going to say, do you have a hard drive where you save these pieces, parts, and these bits to go back to later?
Yeah, I mean, I really just have my laptop here. I have a little hard drive too, but yeah, I just kind of have all the demos and folders, and just there to kind of look up if I need to check something out again.
Are you somebody who sits down to work on a song, or are you one of those people that, like, you're in the shower and you have to run and go write down something?
I would probably say the former.
Yeah.
I feel like I really, I like to get up and just show up to work. I guess in a way, I really I like to sit down, and this is what I'm working on. This is the focus, and I put every bit of myself into that until I can try to come up with something that's compelling. There's are times though. I mean, if something hits me at a random moment, I'm not going to fight it. There's times where I'll record a little voice memo of something, but it's always right when I'm going to sleep. Always. I don't know what it is. It's always that time where something will come in my head, and and I'm just like, am I going to remember this? And then there's been I've learned this lesson. There's been a few times where that's happened, and I'm just like, I'll remember this. This is going to be pretty good. I'll remember this. And
then the next morning,
it's
gone.
Record it. Yeah, I'll make the mistake. I won't record it, and I'll wake up the next morning, and it is just absolutely gone. So it's like a delete. There was just deletion going on.
Something happened in the middle of the night. Somebody deleted that file.
Something happened. Yeah.
So what else can we expect on the album? We've only heard the one song so far.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same kind of sound. A few of the songs are newer ones. There's a couple that are pretty old. There's one song on there that's 6 years old, and I've just kind of held on to it for the right thing. But yeah, there's some nothing too crazy heavy, but some rock stuff. There's some stuff that's a little bit more mid-tempo, kind of slower stuff, I guess, more moody kind of stuff, So yeah, it's kind of an even balance, a little mix of everything.
Well, I got to tell you, the production on the song is incredible. I mean, it really sounds big and
Thank you. That's Joe. Yeah, he really did a great job. I was so happy with it. Yeah, I told him too not too long ago, probably last week. I just was like, hey man, you're stuck with me now. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't want to work with anybody else because I mean, he's just such a talented guy and a good friend and so great to work with. And he gets the vision. He gets kind of um, I think that's difficult to do sometimes as a producer, to kind of really understand what the artist wants, and at the
right.
same time, sometimes what the artist wants um, isn't necessarily the right path, and kind of handling that relationship is difficult sometimes. But I feel like I'm pretty easy to work with. I don't I'm not ruling the project with an iron fist. In other words, I'm
You're open to discussion.
absolutely. I'm open for ideas and discussion and opinions and all that. I just want to make it the best it can be. I just want to make it better. So I try not to be too precious or married to any kind of idea that I've come up with. So
But you've spent some time working kind of by yourself and with your friend. You talked about in the beginning about the camaraderie. You miss the bands, you miss being on the road, you miss all that stuff.
absolutely, absolutely. They're just some of my best friends. I mean, my road family, as I like to call them, and it's been really tough. Even some of my friends, that aren't in the music industry. It's been a long time since I've seen some of them, and family members and all that stuff. It's been tough to be separated. You kind of take for granted all the little things, just like human contact or just having a face to face conversation with someone in
Right.
the same room. It's just and I love going out to restaurants and with friends and eating and talking, and I haven't done that in a long time. So yeah, it's been tough. I miss it terribly. Hopefully we can get back to doing some of those things sooner rather than later. But obviously, whenever it's safe.
Right.
Same goes with touring. I miss those guys. I miss playing shows. I miss the interaction with the fans, and it's such a life charge. It really just it feeds your soul, and I it's I miss it
if
very
I
much.
don't if I don't go to a show every couple of weeks, every month or so, I get an itch. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I absolutely love the energy and
Yeah,
the tribal communal aspect of it or whatever. And
yeah,
man, this last year has been hell.
yeah.
Watching a virtual concert on the screen is just not the same thing.
Right. It's not. But it's tough though. I've watched a few virtual concerts, um, and it is fun to kind of try and make a little event of it.
Well, sure, you have to do what you do during these
Yeah,
times to,
sure,
we had to find new avenues.
sure. But it doesn't compare. I mean, it's kind of like, this is the best we can do. I'll take it. I'll take what we can get. And but yeah, the magic and the just the yeah, exactly what you said. Just the tribal, just the community feel. Just like we're
Mhm.
all experiencing this magical moment with everybody all in one place. And
There's an electricity that goes through the entire venue that everybody's connected for those couple
yeah,
of hours. And it's kind of the same. Look how we've adapted. Normally, you and I would be sitting across a console from each other in a radio studio. And here
right.
we are, hundreds of miles apart, doing this technology thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm grateful that we can even do this.
Right.
I'm glad that I'm not glad that this whole thing happened, but it
Right.
would have been a lot harder years ago. So at least we have a little bit of technology to help us out.
Well, and for me, one thing that I've kept in the back of my mind after all the previous pandemics in the history of humankind, there is a great renaissance of art that comes after. When things start getting back to normal, all these artists, these creators of paintings and art and music and all this, they just unleash. There's so many stories to tell, so many pent up things. And I'm looking forward. I think it's actually already starting as there's like a pipeline of things that people have been working on during the pandemic. And I think that renaissance is coming.
Man, I love the sound of that. Yeah, let's start the new Roaring 20s. Let's go. Yeah, I totally can see that. Yeah, I think that so many people have been just so, um, just trapped in their houses, trapped in their own mind. It's yeah. When everything comes back, it's gonna be amazing. So I
I
can't wait.
totally agree. And you're going to have a whole new album out there to do stuff with.
I know. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's funny. It's been a long time since I've been kind of the main singer in a band. So the whole thought of touring and stuff, it's super exciting, but at the same time terrifying because I haven't it's one thing kind of getting up with the band and you got all these talented guys on stage that you can kind of rely on, and I'm just a kind of a small piece of that. But obviously I'm planning on having some really good musicians to play with me, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to be fun, but it's a challenge, and I accept it. There's nothing I'd rather do. So
I can't wait to see how it works out for you, man. I'll be there. I'll be down
thank,
front.
thank you. No pressure.
No pressure at all. Dude, just rock me. We're all so starved for a good rock show. Just give me a good guitar solo, give me some great songs. I'm happy.
Right on. Right on.
Well, Keith, thanks for taking the time today, man. I know you've got a busy schedule. You've been working on all this stuff, and I'm sure there's videos in the planning and planning of possible tours in case things break loose. So thank you for taking the time and talking about it.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it. And I can't thank you enough for all the support. And to everybody listening and watching, thank you so much for all the support. Love you guys, and hope to see you soon.
We'll definitely do this again. Thank you, Keith.
Awesome, man. Thank you.